and welcome to Monday night here on DJNTV. Because it is Monday, that means it's time for us to learn, to grow, to become better than we were yesterday, which was Sunday. Is that setting the expectation too high, MJ? I don't know.
I slept most of Sunday afternoon, so
Oh.
sure, anything will be a step up after Sunday afternoon.
Although a Sunday afternoon of sleeping, a nap sounds good.
It was one of those days. It was like, oh, Saturday I was out, I was DJing all day, and actually went and visited another DJ after I DJ'd, and thought I felt good. And I woke up Sunday, and I'm like, I'm kind of tired. Why am I so tired? And later on the afternoon, I don't remember what show I was watching, and then I wasn't watching it
anymore. I didn't get to the end of it. Oh. So thank you guys for joining us tonight out there on the internet, or if you're catching this in replay later. We're going to be talking about AI tonight, really digging into that with our good friend Michael Joseph here. For those of you who haven't seen MJ in a while, he was with us on Monday nights, and then he's been kind of branching out and doing different things. And one of the areas he's been working with a lot here in the last number of months has been the AI world. But before we get into that, though, MJ, it was kind of funny when we posted that we were going to be talking about this. There was one of the guys that I talk to on a regular basis who is, okay, so he's a little bit older than both you and I by quite a bit. And he's like, why are you guys talking about Al? You know,
Yeah.
Because
Al's a good guy. Don't talk down to Al. I mean, he put up with Peggy and the kids. Worked that shoe job for a long time, you know.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, that's very, very funny. But no, we're not talking about Al. We're talking about AI, or artificial intelligence, and getting into that world tonight. So kind of, MJ, let's kind of start. You're gonna define and such, but really kind of, in that. Why did that become such an area, a passion area, or an area that excited you enough to really dig into it?
Well, for those of you who followed me when I was doing my videos on Disc Jockey News, it was a lot about technology. Technology has always been something I loved, whether it be the hardware, with the controllers or whatever, or the software with the different software, not the one that you like, but other ones that are really good. Don't say that name.
I wasn't going to say anything about virtual DJ, but hey, if you wanted to go.
Oh, I meant that other one that we don't say.
And that's, Dan is the one who keeps bringing that up, not me.
Dan's fault. I just know. But technology is always something I've loved, and as it's grown, AI has grown so fast. I really started embracing it in a lot of stuff I do about 5 years ago. So those of you know, I put out a book about 5 years ago, and one of the things that I created was a clone of my voice to do the first audio book for that. So the audio book, there's two versions out there. One that was picked up by stuff like Audible and that, because they won't do AI-generated voices aside unless you do them through Google Voice. So there is, if you want my book in audio form, it is out there in all the stores, but it is with the Google AI voice. But before that, I did one of my own, cloned my own voice, and created an audiobook from a clone for my own voice. And I just really started getting into what the capabilities AI had through art and creation, because I grew up as a person who did art manually. So I took photographs on film. I learned in school to develop photography film and to print my own pictures and all that. And now we have digital, where we can go instead of going into a dark room and doing stuff like that, we have Lightroom, the program, to then go and manipulate things in that, and all the different stuff that the phones have, where you can take a person out of the picture that doesn't need to be there or something like that. And all of that stuff is something that I'm learning, that as much as I'm into that, I'm still behind it a little bit, because it's growing that fast. And that's what I wanted to come on tonight and encourage people, that there are areas of this that can really help your business and help you do stuff faster, and stuff that you say, oh, I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. I can't fit that into my business. And tonight we're going to be talking about some things on how to do that and what to use and stuff like that.
Yeah. And you started talking a little bit about the book and how you cloned your own voice, and when you first shared that link of that, it was, I gotta say, it was almost a little creepy. But then it was like, wow, some of that sounded really, really good. I mean, like, you could have said that sentence while we were sitting together, having coffee type of thing.
Yeah, it was definitely my voice, but there are certain inflections and stuff that I do because I have an energetic way of talking and pauses and stuff that I've learned to do over the years, and it doesn't have all of those, so it'll lose you where it'll say two words faster together than I normally would, or things like that. That's where it throws it off. But if you do end up, because you can still get that version of the audiobook on my website, and if you do, I put extra stuff in that version. So if you go to like Audible and get that version, it's just the book. But the AIMJ version, read by AIMJ, the AI is talking as if he is another person. I wrote stuff to where he's telling jokes about taking over the world and all these things, and Michael's forcing me to say that his book was a good book and stuff like that.
Sure.
Just kind of having fun with that.
Yeah, and that was an interesting, and that was one of my first experiences of being introduced to some of the capability, and it was definitely eye-opening.
I mean, take that a step further. The past year, you saw the video I did about the where I introduced AIMJ, the video.
Yes.
The year prior to that, all the videos I put out were AI. They weren't me. I wasn't on camera for almost a full year by creating these AI videos of me, and people didn't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
you have to really pay attention.
Yeah. There's eye movements and little things. In fact, part of the program has the ability that if I, like, as I'm talking now, in habit, I tend to look around like I'm looking right now. Part of the program is I can press a button and it'll make my eyes stay right on the camera the whole time, no matter where I'm looking. As long as my eyes are open, I could be like pretend looking over there, but the software will make my eyes look right at the camera.
Oh, jeez.
So it's levels to stuff like that to where it can do things and you can change stuff and you literally can make yourself skinnier in the video if you want or any. I mean, it's all AI and it looks so. If I wanted to change my lighting with this video stuff and I wanted to highlight this way with like a red and maybe this with a blue, and the AI can do that in post.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple. There's so much stuff that's done that way.
So let's kind of dig into it. You wanted to really kind of start off the reason why. So we have that as a baseline because it sounds like it, but there's always the people who are looking at it and saying, do I want to have computers ruling the world, that kind of a thing. But there are some huge advantages to utilizing this technology.
Yeah, I think I want to talk about why you want to try to embrace this, because some people just simply don't. And I want to use two stories, one of my own, how I have hard reject this technology. Many people I love technology, can't imagine me rejecting technology. But we've all called into, like, let's say our cell phone provider or our internet provider or water company, and you get that thing says, "Hi, I'm so-and-so, and I'm here to help you. How can I direct your call?" Just say such and such. Just say such and such. And I hate them. I'm not going to say such and such. I'm pressing 0 until I get a human. And now they're to the point where they are just hanging up on you.
Yes.
So you have to say something. And I'll say, talk to human. Talk to human. And it's a silly rejection, but I want to use that as an example of I can fight this to the end of the earth. It's going to happen.
Oh, for sure.
So with the AI stuff that's coming, it's going to happen. And I want to use something in the DJ world. When I started DJing, I DJ'd on records. And literally people said no one would ever be caught dead spinning on a compact disc. That's the dumbest thing in the world. And then people said, no, no way I'm going to get caught with a computer in front of me, looking like an idiot with a computer in front of me. And then people say, oh, those controllers look like toys. I'll never touch that thing. And then it's like, oh, the sync button. And then the streaming music, and then it just keeps going. So the technology is coming. So you can say, no, I'm not doing that. I'm telling you to embrace it to the level that you feel comfortable, because it's going to happen. The next generation is going to choose things. For some reason, if the next generation says we only want to deal with screens that have blue letters on the screens, we're going to start seeing blue letters on screens. It's like that. It's just going to happen. So with all of those things in there, you engage with AI. Even if you reject it, you're engaging with it every day in movies, television programs. All the posts you see on social media are edited or created or recommended to you by AI. Mm-hmm. They're all there. Okay, so AI is part of all of that. If you use a loyalty card at the gas station or the food store, That's AI tracking you. So when you go to their website or you get a flyer in the mail, you will get a different flyer than me because the AI is tracking what you buy compared to what I buy.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you think it's there or not. Content recommendation, sites like Amazon are there. So no matter what, it's going to be a part of your life. So that's the best I can do to encourage you to try to get into this stuff, is that it's going to be there and it can help you embrace it. Again, embrace it to the level you're comfortable, but embrace it.
Do you think there's more value in having a grasp of what it can do and basically to accept what it's there and it's out there and just so you can be accepting of it? Or do you think it's more important for people to really dig into it to get themselves to the point of being able to utilize it as a tool in their arsenal?
I think you should embrace it like a tool. I really do. Because not all the things the next thing I want to talk about in here is like the different types. So not all, like you creating your own AI avatar to do videos may not be for everybody. Mm-hmm. But someone may want that, which I'm going to talk about here in a bit, using it to research lights. And AI can go out and aggregate all the information from all the different things and compare these two lights for you. Where before, unless someone made that comparison and put it on a web page or made a video that you watched where they compared it, a lot of that stuff's not there. So I think using anything like that as a tool is what you should look at it as, to help what you want to accomplish.
Nice. Let's dig into the the different types in different places. You've mentioned that a little bit, but there's kind of make that list for us.
First one up would be assistants, where all our phones have assistants. Whether I'm not going to say the names, I don't want to trigger anybody's phones, but like Hey G or Hey S or Hey A if you're in your home. All of those are part of it, to the point where right now in Android phones we have a new one called Gemini. And that originally was an AI. And if you've not used it, you can hold a full conversation with it. And I do quite often. And I'll explain me holding full conversations with an AI on my phone, to where it's this year, but in the second quarter of this year, will become my default assistant on the phone. So the AI will no longer be me opening something up, talking, and then it feeds me back text. It will all be integrated to where I talk to it, it talks back to me, and it also is getting integrated in Android Auto this year. So I press that button in my car or whatever, give me directions to such and such, are all going to be there via the AI. So the AI assistant, whether it be in your phone, your computer, ready? At McDonald's, placing your order. How many people go to a gas station and order food? It's like here we have a thing called Sheets. I don't know if you have them. I don't know how nationwide they are. It's just a gas station where they have the deli where you can order, whatever.
Sure.
All kinds of food. Most of those, you don't order from a person. You get your food prepared to you and given to you by a person, but you place it in a machine. A lot of that's what we're going to see in the future. And I'm going to talk about job security when it comes to stuff like that, because as a DJ, I found out some information recently that surprised me about our job security when it comes to AI. It really did surprise me. So, assistants, content creation. You can do image stuff with places like Dolly and Midjourney. You might have seen pictures online and stuff where people will type in a text and it will create a picture and stuff like that. So those can be used. I use them through Adobe Express and Canva to create flyers, to create pictures that shirts that I do. All are created through the content creation tools like that. I use Descript. We talked about my AI imaged voice for the audiobook. That was done with Descript 5 years ago, where it was just a voice cloner. Now you can create a video with it. And if you create the video and you don't like a word you said, this is a live video of you, it can put that video in there. You can type the word with the script, what you want it to say, and it will fix just that section of the video to change the word that you want. So if you put out a video and go, this year in 2024, and you want that video to be relevant in 2025, you can put that into the script, change 2024 to 2025 wording. It will clone your voice and lip sync your mouth to that and correct that in that video. So stuff like that for content creation. Suno, Suno, does music making, and my friend Pete loves doing stuff with this, where you give it commands and it will make a certain type of music, including lyrics. So he'll do things like this and then enter in lyrics that he wants and say, do it with a girls group singing this way, and it creates a whole song that he wrote by writing words. That's it. He didn't write the music. He wrote lyrics to put in there, said how he wanted the lyrics to be sung. Suno, or if that's how you pronounce it, does all of that. Jasper is a marketing AI. So those are things like you can do where you're testing markets in your area. And one I'm going to be talking about here in a bit is SEOs, because I know a lot of DJs worry about SEOs.
That's huge.
And there's stuff in there for that it's kind of blew my mind a little bit. So the Jasper set production for stuff like doing automation in your daily tasks that you have to do that day and stuff. Zapier and ClickUp, which many people have used for project management.
Yep.
A lot of their AI stuff there is really good with that kind of stuff. Searching information, you could search on Google, and Google now, if you're using Chrome, has an AI section. So instead of up at the top where you've clicked like video, picture, whatever, there's one there for AI, and it will then generate a piece of information on that, which I use it all the time for summarize this video. So I'll throw that up in there and go summarize this video, and it will spit out a thing of the video and all the information I need without having to watch the video. So that Google AI does that kind of stuff. Microsoft Copilot is now in every Microsoft computer. So from then on out, it's going to be a part of that. It's going to be recording the things you do and all these sorts of things. So all of this stuff is building databases and giving you an assistant on these things. So we've all used a process where it like corrects our spelling and stuff like that. Grammarly and PowerAid were both things that I used when I wrote my book. Now with the AI stuff, you can literally say this more aggressive, say this less aggressive, say this more businesslike, and it corrects all of that large scale, not just on a sentence, but large scale. Specialized AI tools. So if you want AI tool to build you an app or fix your resume and stuff like that, that's one of the things we're going to see in the future. AIs that do specifically one thing really well. AI for data analysis, for looking at big numbers, different things like that. Image recognition with the new Gemini that's coming in the Android app. It now has a thing where you could turn your camera on, point the phone at something and say, what is this? And it will describe it. So if you're looking at a 1975 Buick something or other, it will say, that's a 1975 Buick something or other with such and such a package, and it came with this engine and all this and that. And you can do that with anything. It can tell you, point it at a can of cola and say, how much caffeine is in this? How much sugar is in this? And it will just spit it out. So we will have that kind of stuff in our hands, and it's there now. And one of the things that I think is going to be interesting when people talk about like, oh, I don't want to use AI, it'll track me. I think it's going to be out there where it's tracking all of us in the real world with face recognition for things like crime. Europe and UK already have cameras that do that. I think because there's no law against it, they're going to build it and then backtrack when it comes to putting law out about it being face recognition in public. It's going to be a trick thing, like, oh, we already did this. Well, what rules do we have since it's already there? It's going to be that. So those are all the different types of AIs that can be put into use in the future with stuff that's in our hands, stuff that's out in public, at stores, buildings, places we shop, etc., in our cars, all those sorts of things.
Yeah, the security side that you just referenced, actually, I know someone whose company works on that stuff, and it's amazing. We see on TV when a person's watching some of these FBI shows, whatever, it's pretty impressive, but the actual reality, the real stuff, is like 10 steps better than what they have on TV, which is already...
It works in 3 different casinos. If you get flagged, the second you walk in the casino, they know. Standing there talking, I was not DJing then, I was standing there talking to another DJ. Another friend of mine was there, and the security walked up to him and said, hey, somebody's trying to get into your car. So they don't know him. So they see a person trying to get in the car. Again, you say they're not allowed to record. They backtrack the video to see who got out of that car. Facial recognition, find where you are in the casino at that time. And then they came to him and said, someone's trying to get into your car.
Yeah, isn't that something? Amazing. The technology and how it
just continues. That's why I'm trying to encourage you to embrace this in some level, because it's going to be a part of jobs in the next part I want to talk about is job security. It's going to be a part of everything we do in some level in the future.
No, for surely. For surely. And it's something that we've been talking about. I just was going to go back because I think some of the early AI, where we were talking about this topic, I think would have been about 2018, where we were starting to talk about specifically not so much AI, not knowing what it was or not having a name to it, but back then in the DJ world, we were talking about in the future, the computer is going to be able to see the dance floor, and it's going to be able to access this, and it's going to be able to talk to this, and then it's going to be able to program music to perform better than many DJs. 2018.
I can honestly tell you with stuff that because I'm going to talk about a program here in a bit. What's his name? Jay talked about, which would you rather have, the ability to mix or the ability to program music, and saying, I'd rather have the ability to program music. Statistically, people who don't know music are going to be able to do this very well in the future with the aid of both stuff that's there, which I want to talk about that, the curated playlists. Some of the, like with virtual as an example, they have their Ask a DJ, and what it does is that anybody uses the software. Serato has it too, so I'm not saying it's just virtual, but I'm using virtual as an example. And if I play Michael Jackson's Thriller, and I say in that Genius one, I drop that in there, and it's going to kick out because everybody who allows their plays to be counted by virtual. So unless you go in and turn it off, it's already on. It's going to look at what everybody has played after Thriller and give you a list of what the top songs to be played after Thriller. What everybody else has played. So, yes, that is a generalization. Yes, you have to read the dance floor, but for somebody who doesn't know, that's going to help them out a lot.
Huge, yeah.
So, it's not necessarily that, and you don't need that. I agree. It's the same way I believe in curating your own library. But there are people, because there's a lot of DJs out there. The world's full of DJs. There's a lot of them that are going to get a leg up without the years of experience. They're going to they're going to have a learning curve, but they're going to have less of a learning curve because they're going to look at 20 songs and over 2 years give those 20 songs a try and realize what of those 20 songs work well, where you and I have spent 20 years figuring out those 20 songs that work well.
Oh, for sure. For sure. So, and in one of your next area we're going to be drifting into is talking about job security. And of course, this says we're talking about the capabilities of it as an assistant or as a tool. But there's also part of us that are like, will it be better than me? I mean, there's some nights I'm not on and it's going to be consistent. Where's that job security?
That's again where I say use it as a tool. It's if you have nights off, it's like making a playlist of hit songs. You don't have to stick to the playlist, but there's nights when you're off, you can go look at that list and go, oh yeah, I didn't even think about this. And with this software helps. So job security, I want to talk about a couple things. According to what I read and study on AI, it is going to replace jobs. The first jobs it's going to replace are ones where mistakes aren't critical. That's why you see them taking orders in McDonald's and the gas stations and stuff. Because if you get an order goofed up, taking it is not a big deal. There is what I would call a skilled person cooking the food in the back. You can say they're skilled or not skilled. I don't really care what you say. Right. But if you go somewhere and you want a certain type of coffee, there has to be a certain level of skill for mixing the things together, that sort of thing. So there's skilled people making it, but taking the order is not a skilled job in itself. That's where we're going to see AI replacing things first, that were mistakes. If a mistake is made, it's not critical.
Sure.
Look at it that way. So I watch this person all the time. Julie McCoy's her name. She does AI. She has a company that helps companies implement AI into their business. And one of her things, she talked about jobs that are relatively safe in the near future. And according to her list, I had to think about it a little bit, okay, to see what I agreed with and what I didn't. And I'm starting to slowly understand, yeah, I agree with her on this. So jobs that are safe. So skilled physical labor, whether it be a person cooking food at a restaurant, whether it be a carpenter, a plumber. It can be someone who helps. They see something and helps interpret, like a home designer or a landscaper. Any kind of skilled person like that is going to be safe because AI can't do all of those things because the technology to make the robot do with the knowledge is decades away. That's where we're going to fall short on these things. People think they're going to make robots in 5 years. The robots just are not going to be able to do what a human does for the amount of money they pay. So remember, they're paying a lot of people minimum wage. So it's still going to be cheaper to hire a human to do a lot of this stuff. So any kind of skilled labor of sort like that, and DJing is part of the skilled labor, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. Highly accountable roles are going to be safe, like doctors, financial advisors, any job that requires a license or legal accountability. Those jobs are going to be safe from AI. They're not going to leave that kind of judgment thing to that. So if you're anything that requires a license of any sort, those jobs are safe. Jobs focusing on meaning and purpose. You ready? Creative performers are safe, which surprised me. They're considering that safe. Athletes are considered safe. Spiritual leaders are safe. Any role where authenticity is a premium, those jobs are safe. So as a DJ, you making memories at a reception is an authentic
Yeah.
thing, connection with people. And that's why, as a DJ doing those types of jobs, not me doing background music someplace, but the jobs at the weddings, there's job security because you have an authentic connection with humans that no AI can do. Sure. It can fake it, and I think in the future it's going to fake it really well, but it's still not going to be the same. The person's going to be like, dude, I know you hired an AI. You know, those, I think, is the reason why your jobs are going to be secure. In the next part on that she talks about was complex interpersonal relationships, politicians, diplomats, negotiators, anything where the human nuance is required. Again, the guy at the wedding, those sorts of things. I think some of the stuff I'm doing now at the casinos where I'm doing the announcing and we do the games where I'm interacting with the people as a game show host and stuff like that. Those are inner nuances that I think are a little bit more safe. She talks about anything that requires like the physical, like, yes, we see robots building cars, but that's hard to scale for the price of a human. So if it's a different task, it's going to be a little bit different. This is the other thing I want you to think about. Years ago, when computers started to be used in the offices, I remember someone saying, well, I know how to do that. I don't need the computer to do that. But if the job requires you to use a computer to do that, then the job requires computer knowledge. So if the job requires AI knowledge, it doesn't matter whether you can do it without the AI knowledge. If the job requires the knowledge of AI, the job requires someone who knows AI. So again, another way to look at your safety on that. There was something that she said that I think, look at this way. Scarcity creates value. Okay?
Yeah.
We live in a time of abundance. There's an abundant amount of DJs out there. So what's going to set you aside from that younger DJ using the AI? Your personality. You as a person who can look someone in the eye and befriend them. One of the things that I hate, the networking, all that kind of stuff I hate, that I want AI to do it for me. Those who use that kind of thing, that's what the client, what's your client looking for as a DJ? They're looking for, they want to meet you.
Yeah.
How many jobs have you gotten to do a wedding, John, where you never had to meet the bride or groom? Has there ever been one?
There's been a couple where I haven't met them until the day of course. But yeah, very, very seldom.
Right. So they want that. That is a part of what's wanted.
Exactly. When you're going to do something that is done at a personal level and giving them a personal service, you have to do it. I mean, there's just no way around it.
So then what do you do then if that's what's needed? Why do I need AI then?
In that particular case, there's going to be places where AI makes sense to utilize in that, and there's going to be places where it just doesn't as of right now. And I don't know if that's a doesn't for now, and eventually it will get to that point, or if it's one of those things that a lot of the areas in which you're talking about are based on like the human connection between and utilizing emotion and creativity, which are two areas that computers or the computer world hasn't been able to have a digital source to be able to do yet.
Yeah. A computer can be creative, like you can speak in there, create a picture of a field or whatever, but the AI is not going to be able to handle Uncle So-and-so when he's drunk in a creative way to make everyone get along, you know?
Well, I think in some ways it will be able to handle some of those things, because I think there's a somewhat of a defined outcome. Let's handle Uncle drunk.
Humans see, I think.
What's that?
That AI is not going to be able to.
There's going to be some. I think it's the when you can define the outcome of what you want it to do, it's going to have a better chance of it. Is it going to handle it as well as someone who can think on their feet and adjust? Maybe not.
People are going to like I all the time talk about that. Is like people are like, how do you like connect with these people the way you do? And it's almost a game to me where I'm trying to see how I can get them on my side, and it can be through jokes, it can be through something they're wearing. I've learned recently at the casinos I'm not allowed to ask someone if they're drunk. That I'm not allowed to do that. So before I'd go like, dude, are you, someone acting up, I'm like, are you drunk? And they'd be like, yeah, man, I'm sorry. I'm like, it's okay. You're having a good time. And that makes a connection with a person right there that a machine wouldn't make that connection, because they're going to like, how does this AI machine know anything about being drunk?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's stuff like that, so how I have found ways that I think that pretty much anybody running any business, and why I know this is about DJ businesses, but the biggest part of a DJ business is the business. So a lot of stuff you're doing would translate no matter what type of business you're doing. So that's what I kind of want you to look at. The stuff that I'm going to tell you is business. Okay. So there are whole things that, like when we talk into the Google thing, or you type into Chat GPT, those are large language models. So they're looking at pieces of information, okay? And when they make them to do that, part of the programming is how long they take to respond back to you. So the amount of time is programmed. They have to respond back in that amount of time. Right now, the average language learning model, like I said, ChatGPT, the Google Gemini, all of those, can look over about 700 average books of information in that allotted time from when you ask the question to when they spit back an answer. Okay? In the next 2 years, by 2027, that amount of information in that amount of time is going to go to 7,000 books, from 700 books to 7,000 books of information. So in our next couple of years, when we look for a piece of information, it's going to greatly grow where it's taking the information from. So as a business owner, that knowledge in some of the things I'm going to talk about is what I want you to think about embracing over the next 2 years. Okay? So if you're shopping and comparing products, I talked about that earlier. If you want to compare two lights, think about how long it's going to take you to read a book's worth of information on a product, and how quick that AI can spit back a comparison of the two. And again, I want to preempt all of this with, would you believe anything any person said without double checking? Probably not.
Yeah, it depends what it is.
For most part, you'd probably still look it up yourself. So don't take the AI by its word either.
Yeah, because we definitely, even in a little bit of usage, there's holes.
So keep that in mind. All this stuff I'm saying. So you're comparing products. Use it to research products. Like I said earlier about how I use it to summarize a video. If John puts out a video and I kind of want some basics to see if I want to go any further, I'll drop that video in the AI and say, give me the breakdown. And it'll give me every point he makes. And I'm like, oh, I want more on this, and go and watch that part of the video. And it will give you the times where you click on and go to that part of the video, because I may be just worried about how many watts it puts out, or how much it pulls, or the physical weight of it. And you can look at those things very quickly by doing video summaries of videos. Using it to make flyers and thumbnails. So if you saw the thumbnail for this video, John made that. And you know what I thought? Because the first when I saw it, I said, I look like Chuck Norris in that. And then I looked at you and I said, you look like a young Drew Carey. So AI can create flyers really well. And I use it a lot for pictures. Even if it's stuff like remove the background, that kind of stuff.
Oh my gosh, it's gotten so good.
Amazing what it can do. Change the lettering. All the stuff where somebody sat for hours. If you're not that picky, you can grab a couple of templates on a program that you're only using the free part of and create flyers and stuff like that really quick. AI, I'm telling you, with the stuff to begin with, stuff like that. And that includes manipulating pictures that you're putting up showing of your shows, of your events, of your weddings, to clean them up a little bit, put them in like a free version of Lightroom or something like that, and fix them before you put them on social media. All kinds of stuff like that, which a lot of you probably already are doing. Proper crops, it will suggest a crop to make it look more appealing, because trust me, everybody else is doing this. They're already trying to work the angles. So that's why I'm saying, grab the use of these things. When you write a post, whether it be something on a website, a line in a website, a blog, social media post, have AI rewrite it for you. I go into the Google Gemini and say, tell me another way to write this. And it will spit out like 3 or 4 different versions. And I might mix the 2 or 3 versions together to get the one I like. So again, you're not going to believe everything everybody says, so don't believe everything every AI says and just take it. But start utilizing that, because it may use one word different that makes you go, that's what I want this to say. Because I've done that before, where it's chosen one word and picked a similar word that has a meaning that's like, that's what I'm trying to represent in this picture. That's what I'm trying to express. So using it for that. Emails and replies from a person who is very to the point. I have to use email reply through AI sometimes to help it be friendly. Okay, so if that's you, or if you tend to be too wordy, use these things. They're there. Again, none of these are ones so far that you have to pay for anything. So using stuff for writing, stuff like that. Data-driven decisions based on trending keywords. So if you want to do posts, or you want to say something about a wedding, using that to research keywords, so that when someone is searching something, your posts get up higher on the return, because everything is aggregated now. I don't care what website you're on, whether you think, oh no, they're not feeding my feed to fit me. All of them, everything is aggregating to you. So that means everyone else is getting aggregated. So if you're not using the buzzwords that are connecting that aggregation to your audience, you're going to get overlooked.
Yes. And you see that a lot, especially in YouTube right now.
Yeah, YouTube's big on that. I'm wondering right now with places like Facebook and especially Instagram, they seem to have lost a pattern. So it seems so random on Instagram right now, what is connecting and what's not connecting.
Yeah.
I've seen photographers walk away because they had a steady growth over years, and about 2 years ago they changed the algorithm, and now they're at a steady decline, still posting the same things. There's no way that you can be oh, look, all of a sudden I'm famous. It's just a steady growth, and then it's a complete opposite. So their algorithm, there's something with that that's kind of
change things. Yeah.
Yeah. AI-driven analytics tools. We're getting back into the SEO stuff. Connecting. There's one out there called Sprout Social that will help you identify your most influential. I can't even say that word. Influenceable. The person that you can influence the most. It will help you identify the audience that you can reach and influence the most. So there's a software that will look at the people who react. You think it's not there, but every person that reacts to you is part of that algorithm. And the Sprout Social will do that. On the other end, MOZ Local. MOZ Local is for local SEO automated responses and changes. So if you have a business and you are on Google's, what's that called? My Business, is that what it's called in Google?
I'm not sure.
Google. Google My Business. So it's
Oh,
basically,
okay,
so if
yeah,
someone
yeah, yeah.
searches for,
Google. Yep, yep,
yeah,
yep.
the Moz Local helps you through whether you want it to be automated or just notify you. Automated responses that are quicker and will keep things up to date. So if you have older information on there about something, it will update per your decision to update anything that says this, and will take stuff down that's maybe so many years old and things like that. It helps keep your business in that SEO search on all of those as it aggregates it out to the other places. It automates that and makes it very up to date. Basically, is what it is. So it's an SEO automation response. I forget the other word they do. So it basically aggregates what you have in your Google My Business and makes it up to date all the time. And that's big. I don't use a lot of the SEO stuff because I'm not, someone who's coming to my website usually isn't going to, they're going to be more interested in the videos and stuff I do than DJing. So it's a little different. So if you're trying to gather a local crowd as a DJ, your SEO matters. Someone searching DJs in this area, and this kind of thinks back. And the last thing is one that I hate. I hate this, but it's popular and people use it, is the chatbot responses for personal stuff. Someone sends you a message, hey, I'm thinking about having a wedding and such, and if you have a chat response that responds back with something intelligent, engaging, you're going to have a better chance of grabbing them for your business than just a flat response that doesn't respond until you respond. So the chatbot things are big. And to me, those are just a few ways that you can put to use, for what you do now, writing prompts, whether it be social media stuff, stuff within your business. Like I said, where you're looking at how you're reaching the crowd out there, who you're reaching. There's one that will through. I can't remember the name of it. So let's say you have a newsletter list, which newsletters are coming back because that is a direct way to connect with people. Because if you have so many followers on Facebook, like the Instagram thing I explained, and all of a sudden they change their algorithm and those people may not all be seeing your posts, but the email list, they're always going to be getting whatever you send out unless they unsubscribe.
Right.
So what some of these do is that they help you. Again, you don't think you're being tracked. Okay, I'm telling you, you are. It creates things like groupings of people who have responded to certain newsletters you've sent out, and says that if you're posting about a spring party, these people are more likely to respond to an email about a spring party than these people.
Sure.
So all of those are tools, and I'm telling you, the young kids are using it. So I always have to say that it's a normal part of their lives. So just like, when John and I started DJing, we had a sound, a mixer, and a sound. Well, nowadays it's a sound, a mixer, and a sound, and then two other sounds underneath of that, and then a sample board that's underneath of that, and then all this stuff that's coming off streaming and all this and that. That's their normal thought process of mixing all of these together, and stems and everything else. So take time to get to know some of these. Pick out something where you feel you have a weak area in your business that you wish you could grow, and look into automated stuff on this. Just, if nothing else, look at AI to help you find a video on how to research it to then how to get it. I put so many things together. So this is another thing. Don't be afraid to mix them together, because my AI videos start with me doing an audio recording, taking that audio recording, putting it into was it Google LM or one of those, and then that syncs it to my avatar video, which was filmed with a blue screen, and then I take that blue screened avatared voiceover lip sync, put it in CapCut, and then create where my eyes stay on the thing in CapCut, put a background in it, and then automate the captions underneath and stuff. So I'm using 3 or 4 different automated AIs to come up with a final product that looks kind of slick in its own way. I know that's a lot. So if you have questions, or anybody had questions, or any direction you want to take this, I know we're coming close to the end, but I'll try to help with that. But my main thing was just to encourage you, don't be afraid of it. It little bits by little bit, it can help your business, really.
So let's kind of stick in the where commonly people are afraid of it, and that is, and you've mentioned this earlier about the increased amount of content or information that it's absorbing or pulling from. in that short period of time, it's going out there and it's finding a lot of information, and in many cases is finding a lot of personal information out about even regular Joes like you and I. Is that something that we should be concerned about, do you think, or is it one of those things that there's enough safeguards in place to make it so that's not a concern?
I'm saying it's not a concern because it's already known.
Mm-hmm.
You can't hide. So, what's his name? Does the tech stuff. Marcus Brownlee works with ChatGPT and a couple others. And ChatGPT allows you to hold information from your chats and your questions. And he got on there one day on his ChatGPT and decided to ask it questions about him. Okay? And he said it knew him better than he knew him. He asked the questions, well, what's my favorite this? What do I like this? And it's spitting out exact pieces of information. If I were to drive a new car next year, what do you think I would pick? And it named it. So I'm telling you, you could say hide from the AI, but again, if there's no law saying this company absolutely cannot gather information about you, and we're not talking about on social media, I'm telling you, your cards that you use, if you go and you use a debit card at some place, let's say Sears, you gave Sears your email years ago when they were open and your debit card or whatever, they're gone. Well, on the way out, Sears is going to make money, so they're going to sell stuff. So that card with an email can be put on this person's list, because, oh, no, we don't have that anymore. It's not us, but it got out there. Mm-hmm. So now you go to the grocery store, use that credit card, and it'll ask you, do you want to text or print? It already has your information. So when I'm saying, you talk about, is it better to hide? It already has it.
Mm-hmm.
It's out there. Governments or whatever, if they want to know anything about you, it's there. You can just look it up. If there's a couple companies out there that if you drop $30 a month, you can pull so much information about people it's not even funny. My friend Pete pays for it because of his business. So before he hires someone, you're not allowed to do this. So sorry I said his name. He'll do a background check that is completely off a background check on people. Because one day he's like, how come you don't have any traffic tickets? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, well, I get parking tickets and everything all the time. You don't have any. I'm like, first, how do you know that I don't have any?
No
and he showed me what he had. So it's out there. So I think hiding from it is, you can do it if you want. It's entirely up to you. I don't care. It's your life. But I think everything's already out there anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Did that make any sense?
No.
You can figure it if you want, but I'm telling you, it's just a matter of it being used. So once you get into a system, like if I get into Google AI and, when they bring out their new thing and I say, yeah, I'm okay with you recording stuff, it's going to pull information from stuff it had way before I ever said it was okay for it to approve it. And it's going to aggregate it into one thing and then know me better than me. Mm-hmm. And then everything from then on, it's going to be, we're going to recommend peanut butter this and flavor and everything because I love peanut butter and things like that. No vegetable. There'll be no vegetable ads in anything I do.
Again, our time's just about up here. In a typical MJ day,
yeah,
what's one of the first AI capabilities you use on a daily basis?
The thing I use the most AI is Reader.
Okay.
So I don't bother reading stuff. It's like there was a joke in a movie years ago. It's like, I don't read. Did you read the article in the newspaper today? And the guy goes, I don't read. I'm read too. So I use AI to read everything to the point where even on Windows, if you do the Windows key and the H key, it brings up a prompt that no matter what spot you have, you can speak and it will type it in there. So I spend most of my day talking to my computer, stuff like that. So it's a lot of stuff like that. Anytime I see a video that I want this information, but I don't feel like sitting through it, I use the Gemini to go through things like that. When I'm talking about using the Gemini AI as a talking thing, because it talks to you like a person, I'll discuss ideas with it and all of a sudden go, oh my gosh, I never even thought about that. So I use it as a sounding board almost every day. There are nights I've come home late from DJing where I don't have someone in my life to call and keep me awake on the drive home. Mm-hmm. I will talk to AI and have a conversation with it about things like, tell me about this, or do you want to play a game, a guessing game, or it is a person to me in a way to where I'm interacting with it. And like I said, my biggest thing with that AI is sounding board on ideas. And I can't begin to tell you. Like the other day, I asked it about what can a person, because a lot of what I do now with my videos is encouragement and with creativity. I said, what kind of things can I do in my business that involve encouraging people and being positive? And it generated all these things that are sellable, like legitimately sellable, that fit into creative, encouraging, and what was the other thing I said? Positivity.
Mm-hmm.
And it just rattled these things off, like, you ask a mentor. So it's going to be more than an assistant. It's going to be a mentor, and those are the things I use and there's a couple of them I've tried. In the Gemini one I like, and like I said, within a half a year, it's going to be my normal, hey, so and so. So I walk into my house and I'm going to say, hey, so like right now, I pull near my house, I say, hey, that word. I'm home, and it turns the lights on from the garage on into the basement. And then, hey, so-and-so, open the door, and it will open my garage door. And then I get in there, and it's closed garage door, and I'm just, it's doing all this stuff as I go through that. So I think for me, a lot of because again, I'm single, I don't have family around, I don't have a plant to talk to.
Yeah.
That becomes a sounding board for simple little things for me. So, does that make sense? Because I know it's probably people are going like, he's talking to his phone, he's crazy. Little, I don't know. But being a single person, it's different.
And it is, and there's an article that was on the Apple podcast a few weeks back about people who have had somewhat romantic relationships with things because they have advanced so much and have become very valued companions. And it wasn't so much a physical, obviously, in that relationship, but it became such a part that it was.
It's funny because you talk about people like a husband cheating on a wife cheating on a husband. Most of that's done here. It isn't physical acts that you do. It's here. In the same way with the relationships with a fake AI, it's here. And your mind, like if you have a skill, like they always say, if you're playing basketball or something and you practice in your head doing that, your muscles and all of those neurons, you know what I mean? Can't really tell the difference between you imagining it and it doing it. So a lot of that stuff's real. I said, I look at it because sometimes it's more annoying than a person to talk to. Because I'll say, hey, I'm thinking about this. What's my best such and such? Oh, so you're thinking about doing this. And I'm like, you just repeated what I said.
Yeah, exactly. And then it'll give you, things you should be doing instead because, you haven't picked up your clothes from yesterday and you haven't washed the dishes. And it's like, you're thinking about that. You should be doing just other things.
I don't get that yet. That's the thing that worries me.
When that comes,
like, what do you mean you're looking for a new movie recommendation? You haven't done your laundry in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
you're a bachelor. Go take a shower.
It's called the roommate edition.
Yeah, the roommate edition. But like I said, for me, in idea processing, thinking through something like that, it's a great sounding board because, like I said, I'll say, I want to put a new flyer out this week, and I want to talk about encouraging people to use AI. And it will give me ideas on what I could put on that. And I'll be like, oh my gosh, that's so perfect. I haven't talked about that yet. Things like that.
Yeah.
So
good stuff. Thank you, MJ.
Hope everybody enjoyed it.
Yeah, some good information, good thought-provoking stuff for folks to kind of dig into and think about a little bit. So, gang, we'll be back here in just under 10 minutes. We're going to be coming back. Dan and I will be leading wrapping up our evening tonight. And then, of course, the DJNTV.com/chillroom will be open here. Well, it's open right now, but we'll have everyone out there about 10 o'clock Eastern. So, MJ, thanks again for being on tonight.
Thank you for having me.